Curbing the Taliban Opium Trade. Marja, Afghanistan. Curbing the Taliban's multi-million-dollar opium poppy business was a major goal of a military operation to seize this former insurgent stronghold. With the town in NATO hands, the Marines face a conundrum. If they destroy the crops and curb the trade, they will lose the support of the population, a problem for which they have no easy answer or solution. U.S., Afghan, and NATO forces that stormed Marja in February were ordered to seize large opium stashes, but leave the farmers' poppy fields alone. Destroying crops and farmers' livelihood would undermine the broader goal of winning the support of a population that has long embraced the Taliban over an ineffective and corrupt Afghan government. We just let them grow it, said Captain Carl Havens, the 38-year-old commander of Alpha Company of the 1st Battalion, 6th Marine Regiment. If we just went in and destroyed every poppy field, then they'd immediately turn against us. Before the offensive, the military estimated Marja's poppy crop was worth some $40 million, said Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Rule, the head of Marine Operations in Helmand Province. Nationwide, the Taliban earned approximately $300 million a year from the opium trade, according to the United Nations. Afghan government officials in Kabul say they'd like to start destroying crops immediately, but are holding back in Marja because the town is still so volatile. Once they have no more fighting, then we can deal with the eradication, said the country's Deputy Counter-Narcotics Minister. He said the Marines and Afghan troops still need to concentrate on establishing security, and adding poppy eradication to their tasks would be just too much. We cannot be in a situation where we remove the only source of income for people in the second poorest country in the world without providing an alternative source of income, said a NATO spokesman. So, with the harvest season starting, the poppy crop will be the first real test of the military's control of the area or town of 80,000. Poppies give residents a reason to support the Taliban because the insurgents buy the crop. Although Marines won't destroy the crop, they will make it difficult for farmers to sell their product anywhere in Marja, whose economy rests entirely on poppies. In other words, that's their only cash crop. And if they make it hard to sell it, then what difference does it make whether they destroy the crop or leave it alone? They're not going to be able to sell in the bazaars because we're going to be there, said Lieutenant Joseph Rainey, a Marines spokesman. Doing so without alienating the farmers is not going to be easy. The plan is to compensate farmers to cover the cost of preparing their fields for next season. A number of strategies are being considered, most including a combination of cash along with seeds and fertilizer to somehow encourage them to switch to a legal crop like wheat or soybeans. Such formulas have had some success elsewhere in Helmand. Opium poppy cultivation dropped 33% last year in the province, according to the United Nations. But the reductions have all been in areas where the Afghan government has first established the security and control needed to combat the Taliban full package deal of seeds, fertilizer, crop protection, and guaranteed payment. It's unclear if the 2,200 U.S. forces and their Afghan counterparts in Marja have enough control to prevent black market selling. A lull in fighting after the 3-week offensive appears to be ending, with snipers reappearing to ambush troops. Taliban bomb makers are adjusting their tactics to hit foot patrols rather than heavily armored vehicles. The harvest coincides with the start of the traditional fighting season in Afghanistan. The Taliban have historically regrouped over the cold winter months and then returned to launch offensives in the spring and summer. NATO officials say it's slow, but the troops in Marja are making drug busts on patrols and whittling down the illegal business. We are making fines, we are making arrests, and we are making some progress, said Wing Commander Richard Connolly of the British Royal Air Force, who works on counter-narcotics policy for NATO forces in Afghanistan. No real alternative. The farmers, meanwhile, say they're worried no one has offered a real alternative yet. One farmer in central Marja said he has 3 acres, 2 of wheat and 1 of poppy, but it's the poppy crop that provides most of his income or money. Tilling the land, fertilizer, all this stuff costs a lot. Wheat or soybeans would not be enough to even cover the cost, said the farmer. If I had other income, I wouldn't farm poppy, he said. Maybe if I had a job working as a laborer, or if I became a sharecropper for a rich man. The administrative chief for the town of Marja said he doesn't expect legal crops to garner the same profit, but he hopes farmers will accept less money in exchange for better governance and security the Taliban provided. I think they'll be happy with half the price because supposedly they'll have real government and safety, and they'll be working legally. He said his hope is to use the next few months to somehow persuade the farmers to make the switch. The Americans are trying to jumpstart the process with jobs. They're employing hundreds of men to clean out irrigation canals, dig wells, and build footbridges, said Major David Fennell, the 1st Battalion's Chief Civil Affairs Officer. But all this comes at a cost. Fennell's team has disbursed more than $250,000 already in a combination of restitution payments and quick impact projects such as canal clearing. So it's unclear how long the U.S. money will keep coming and how much of it the Afghan government will be able to continue. So, like I say, in other words, what happens after the stimulus is ended? How long can they keep paying these people money or cash or providing them with jobs? That is a question. These are more signs of the end times, transition days. The transition is real. It's a continuing daily process happening all around the world. Luke chapter 21:34. Take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with partying and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. And these are more signs.